Sick, dude.
Nice.
Sick. Okay, so you've been introduced to the rabbits now.
Yeah.
Which is a huge...
I know.
How do you feel?
I feel very good. I think I might get one. But
do you really... If you got a rabbit, I would be... There's another comic with a rabbit.
Who?
SP?
Wait.
She
I
was
think
a rabbit.
I do know that.
Because when I went to the
did know
rabbit
that she
rescue,
had a
they were like,
rabbit.
we know
Okay.
another comedian with a rabbit. It's a very small, weird community.
When I go to the pet store and I buy hay, they're like, "Is this for Maddie?" Like they automatically know. Like, is this? You're like, what's going on with Maddie?
They're like, is
The
this
guy
Maddie?
at the pet store across the street who also has a pet rabbit and works there, so when they met each other, they do this thing called rabbit speed dating to see like if they'll
Just
be a
the
good
cutest
match.
thing that's ever lived.
I like took them to like a place in Manhattan and he like met a bunch of rabbits and like they like chose each other. Like they fought everyone else and they like cuddled up immediately.
Wait, the two of them?
Yeah.
Wait, are they fixed?
Yes.
Do rabbits have to get
I thought
fixed?
you said,
Yeah.
"Are they fake? Is this an illusion?
They're stuffed,
Where am
yeah.
I? Is this a deep fake?"
I came in super high.
Yeah.
Wait, is this real?
Zen having a psychotic
I've been playing
episode.
with them for like 20 minutes. Is this for real?
Dude, that guy at the pet store across the street, he'd also done rabbit speed dating and he got interviewed by the Wall Street Journal because they were doing like a column about like, isn't this quirky, rabbit speed dating? And he had it folded over. He was showing me. He was like, look, we're in the Wall Street Journal. We're talking about rabbits. I think this is so cute. And I unfolded it to look at it. It was rabbit speed dating. Top story, Trump shot. The first time. And this still made the front page.
So
dude.
funny.
So
I always think about like when like the Wall Street Journal does something like dumb like that where they'll have like Selena Gomez made a ton of money or something and everyone in the comments like, you're gonna talk about this when blah 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 is going on. And it's like, you could say that about anything.
yeah.
I could go on any comment and be like, you're going to talk about this when I'm on my period. That's crazy.
Which you
Yeah,
should just
literally,
comment on
yeah.
actually everything.
I'm like on like war profiles. I'm like, you're going to talk about the war when I'm on my
The
period.
war in Ukraine, I'm on my period, please.
Yeah,
All
I'm on my
right?
period. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. This is so mean.
Yeah, you bringing up Chinese policy right now is a little rude. All right?
Yeah.
It's really give me a
Focus
flashback.
on me
Yeah.
and what I care about. That's like literally every comment is like, focus on what I care about. And it's like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
nobody wants to just keep talking about this. I say,
Yeah.
maybe no one cares about it.
Also, it's
I
like
mean,
not like those people are like focus on the thing that I'm like an expert in and I actually think is the forefront issue in like world relations right now. It's like focus on the other thing I saw
Yeah.
on TikTok.
No
like it's all,
one-
you also just saw this because you're algorithm.
Also, I think we could all agree rabbit speed dating. You want to hear about
Yeah,
that.
you wanna
That's
hear
a
about
good-
this.
You it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who you are. You're like, tell me a little bit
You
more.
kind of want that to be a show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want
And
it to
if
be
you're
like a
why
TV
isn't that a
show.
show?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
That would
let's
be
turn the cameras off
debatably
and
is.
do a pitch right now. I'm sorry, we're fucking wasting our time here. We got Yoshi and Wilbur, the real stars. We could.
Yeah,
Also,
I wanna do the
no one
opposite.
in the comment section's ever been an expert on anything. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Is
That's
no
very
one who's
true.
an expert
Comments.
is commenting.
Yes.
Because if you're an expert, that means you're doing something that helps you become an expert and not going online and fucking commenting on shit.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone worth talking to comments.
Yeah, I've never
When's the last
commented
time
on
you've ever
something-
been like, well, let me fucking weigh in?
No,
Every comment's just like a
never.
friend posts a thing and you're like, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like to
Yeah.
the friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
I've
the friend.
never posted on a public person's
Yeah.
page and been like, she thought she ate.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
You're lobotomized.
Yeah, yeah.
dude.
It's so
Never
insane.
left like 3 paragraphs. I'm like, well, actually, if
Yeah.
you go back to 1913, you know.
But
like-
also like comment on our stuff. And it's very important that you do.
yeah, no. But that being said, do comment
Yeah,
in
do
our stuff. A
comment.
lot of fire
Yeah.
emojis, a lot of
We
keep
really
going. I
need
believe
this.
in you.
Yeah.
A lot of I'm
She
proud of
ate
you.
would be great, actually. Yeah, that would be really nice of you to
really
say.
good job despite being on your period. That's what I would say every KC video now. It really killed considering the blood loss there.
It's everybody. You're like, this girl's always on her
Yeah,
period.
it's like every day. I don't.
This girl is always on her period.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on, but I am constantly. It's either I'm on the verge or I'm getting off. And like there's no
Yeah.
telling. It might just be that I'm emotionally just like always dysregulated.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I think I'm PMSing.
Yeah, it's like how people are like, you're never more than like 6 feet from a spider.
Yes.
It's like I'm never more than I'm measuring myself
One day
in
from my
relation 2
period.
days from my
Yeah.
period. Yeah.
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 It could start right now.
I also
We'll
used
see.
to be like, whenever I would get horny, I'd be like, I'm ovulating. And then I got horny
Yeah.
on my period and I was like, my body's
No.
broken.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You're
know.
like, I think
I'm just a
horny.
slut.
Yeah. I think
I
I'm
can't
just
even
horny.
get pregnant and I want to fuck. That's slut behavior,
That's
dude.
yeah. Like, that's not even evolutionarily.
Unchristian.
Yeah.
Because people, when they live together, their periods sync up. What emotional states, since we live together, do you think would sync up? Like when you're on your
Whoa.
period, do I just get extra angry? Mike and Next are
Yes.
just absolutely pissed off.
Yeah, I think when you thought Noam Chomsky died for a few hours, I got my period out of nowhere.
We're both just crying.
Wait,
like,
Why did you think Noam Chomsky died?
because there was this news story going around that he died.
Yeah, it was falsely reported.
Oh.
And then they were like,
well,
no,
I mean, he's on the verge.
technically not.
He's
I
like
mean,
on
he's
the
been
verge,
on the
yeah.
verge of dying for my
Yeah.
entire life.
He's like Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what? You're
Yeah,
still...
but Jimmy Carter's building houses, and Noam Chomsky's doing 18 Zoom interviews a day. Every day he's like,
That's
I got
what keeps him
another one.
alive.
After,
That's
yeah.
what
Yeah.
keeps him going.
Yeah, it was special for me because I got pulled out of my class in 3rd grade to hear him talk. And
I thought you were going to say to be told that he died. And I
No,
was like, wait, how long has this been going
It's
on?
been going on. It's like I'm like, we finally got him. No. And that's, I think that's also the cornerstone of me and Maddie's friendship is weird political shit in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Like, I think we passed each other at various street corners.
Yeah, we found out years later that we hung out at the same anarchist bookstore, but never met each other.
But
Yeah.
never met
Yeah.
each other?
No.
Yeah.
But I think it
Where
was also,
were
I
you?
was disgruntled because my dad was dragging me there and just being like, listen to this meeting. And I'm just like in 5th grade being like, I want to go to McDonald's. And there's a bunch of college kids who don't shower.
Yeah, and
Talking about-
my parents were like trying to be so nice but not agreeing with it. They were like, "So how would not having any countries work?" You know what I mean? They were like, "I'd love to hear about that."
Yeah. That's
So
really
sweet.
nice. But can you
I was
do
like,
the
"It's a
dishes?
lot of community gardens
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shut the fuck up."
Yeah, you sound like a fucking fascist. Give me
mostly
$45 so I can buy a
community
pamphlet.
Oh, your whole plan is just community garden.
It's a lot of it hinges pretty
It's a
heavily
lot of
on
community gardens.
sharing tomatoes. Yeah, that was my high school understanding of international relations.
Community gardens is just also another way of saying like an Israeli settlement. Your plan failed spectacularly.
You're like,
and
oh, no, not like
wait,
that. Not like
wait.
that.
Which communities gardens?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, I accidentally
we're in favor.
You
I'm
accidentally
like tripping
create
on a banana
conflict.
peel and I fall and I look up and I'm like, there's no borders because I made the whole
Yeah.
world Israel. Oh
No borders if we take it all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
kind
all
of-
left.
no. Did you grow up very politically like minded?
I majored in international affairs
Oh,
and
shit.
Arabic.
Damn,
Oh,
what?
damn.
You're fluent
So-
in Arabic?
Oh no, no. But there was a time where I was like the government paid me to study Arabic, and then like I was like intermediate at
Whoa.
Arabic. I could like discuss issues in Arabic,
Wow.
and now
You're so
Can't even
smart
get
that you were like, I
through
wasn't
anything.
fluent. I couldn't articulate all my thoughts, but you could articulate most people's thoughts.
I could articulate
If you could
like,
talk on
very
behalf of the
basic
government.
things in Arabic, and
Dude,
then like
that's
I lived,
crazy.
yeah. But then now it's all fucking gone. Like now when I even tell, like if I find out like an Uber driver speaks Arabic, like if I'm drunk, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then I fail so spectacularly.
Yeah.
Multiple dates where I've been like, I can do this, just to be like, look how impressive this is, and then just failed so hard.
Damn.
Yeah,
How
I'm
many
not good at
languages
it.
do you speak?
Like 4.
Jesus. Well, I got a 30-day streak on Duolingo French, so
Yeah,
Ooh,
there we
that's
go.
really
the
good.
orange,
Jump,
le
jump.
orange. So
Orange.
Yeah.
I'm really.
Wait, why are you learning French?
Because I already knew some from
Because
middle
it's kind
school.
of hot.
Huh?
It's kind of
But
hot.
you're not going to use French ever.
You can use
Yeah,
French.
I know. No,
With
it's
who?
yeah.
You can go to Mali. That's the country I pick.
It's completely impractical, but I just
Learn
already
some
knew
Spanish
some.
or something.
I know I do need to
Or
learn
sign
Spanish.
language.
Sign language would be
Both
huge,
cool
but you tried to teach me, and I
Oh, yeah.
could not retain it.
You
I was
could
so bad at it.
absolutely
You have an
use it,
agenda
never
behind
try.
sign
Every time I
language.
met my mom, you look like you've met my mom. You look like a deer in headlights. You're like, I don't know what to do. Like,
Because you taught me something, I was trying to remember it, and I fucking
you
completely
just
forgot
stare
it.
It's all
forward like
offensive
she's gonna
things.
punch you in the face or something.
You have a personal agenda for sign language.
I
so
do
it
have a
doesn't
personal
count.
agenda.
Yeah.
I have a personal agenda for Spanish and sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think because you're actually going to use Spanish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
It's a
actually could
useful
use
language.
Spanish.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
Duolingo is great. I finished Duolingo Spanish because I was like, you can like test out of a bunch of stuff and then you finish it. At the end, they'll be like, there is no more lessons for you.
Yeah.
And then it only says 40% of Spanish. And I was like, so what the fuck
It's like
was
you
this
can
about?
go to the library and like pick out a book.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm like using Duolingo French more to like fight dementia and just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, keep
exercise
it
my
going.
brain than I am in like
You're 25.
thinking that I'm fucking
You gotta
Maddie,
start
what do
the
you
fight
think? You're like,
early.
I'm using it to fight off dementia.
Dementia runs in my family, dude. I'm staring down the barrel of that
You're
shit.
25. I think you still have another at least 25.
Yeah, but you got to
years.
start young.
It would be great though if you got
but you-
dementia and what you remembered was French.
That's it.
She like doesn't remember family members, but she remembers French.
Yeah, wait, is that a way to fight dementia? It's not, but is that a way
It's
to fight
probably.
dementia where you try to just learn a ton of stuff? So
Yeah.
even if you lose 60% of it, you still know a shit ton.
That is true.
I'm
No,
gonna give
but the-
everyone.
but the first
I'm gonna
part, I
give
think, is
everyone
true.
40 nicknames as like insurance. I'm like, I
Right.
can forget most of these.
Yeah.
I still know who
and
you
I'll
are
still
on some
get
level.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you forget the face and you're like, I'm fucked. I'm so screwed.
Now I'm like, I just know that Jim Bob is out there somewhere.
I feel like I have that now because so many people in comedy. You meet so many people that come up to you
Yeah.
and they say, "Hey," and I'm like, I have literally no idea.
know.
And
I
I just
always
wait
just
for them
say-
to give me a cue.
Yeah.
I always say good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Good
what
to
you
see
gotta
you.
do.
But now I had the thing where it would be like, hey, nice to meet you. And they're like, we met. And it's
I
like,
know,
well, we
I
all
really
meet
hate
fucking
that.
1,000
I really
people doing
hate
Somebody
that.
said
Yeah.
that like went off on me like we've done so many shows together. I'm like 3
Yeah.
concussions.
You're like-
I'm happy I can remember my fucking name.
Yeah.
How
You're
about
like,
give
why
me a
don't you
break?
try to be more memorable?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's
Try
not
to
my
be a
fault.
little more memorable.
Yeah.
Oh, you had the bats. No, that's not true. That's not
Oh,
what.
you
But,
said-
like,
yeah.
but now I've done the opposite thing where it's like I'll like not say hi to someone because I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, good to
Scared,
see you,
yeah, yeah.
and then eventually they're like, nice to meet you, and they're not a comic, so
Yeah.
it just seems like so rude.
Right.
They're like, why didn't you say hi to
Yeah.
me? And I'm like, because I'm trying to.
I know. I'm trying to juggle a lot of things here.
Yeah.
I just say
Trying to fight
good
off
to see
dementia,
you,
I'm learning
and then-
French.
Yeah.
You also like edit videos. You're a great stand. Like you're using your
Yeah.
brain a lot.
Thank you.
You're doing
I
it
just-
24/7. You're like, you're not just sitting around in your room.
But I think back to
flicking
high school,
Wilbur.
and I'm like, we did like history and math and science. Like, we were
Yeah.
doing so much shit. I'm like, I definitely don't use my brain as much as I did in high school.
No.
If I had to go back to my high school schedule, I would struggle.
Have you
to
ever read
keep
like
up.
a paper you wrote? Like I read a paper I wrote in college one time, and I was like, I was so smart,
dude.
Oh my god.
This is not connected.
I can't think of a single sentence right now.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't like write an academic sentence.
I went to like a really hard high school where a lot of people that I was like around, like their parents were like professors at the
Yeah.
university, and it was so hard. And then I went to college, and I was like, college was
College
easier
is so
than high
easy.
school.
I know, mine too.
High school was hard as fuck.
Yeah.
If you're like taking AP classes and stuff,
Yes.
it was like, dude.
I did IB, and they made you like
Oh.
handwrite. Our like history exams were all handwritten because they didn't want
Jesus.
you to like. I don't know what it was.
versus like typing it.
Yeah. So they had to you had to
Wow.
handwrite it in class, and so or even homework you'd have to handwrite it in preparation for the
this
exam.
wasn't just like a final exam. This was like all the.
All the things were handwritten, so
That's
it'd be
fucking
like
crazy.
20 pages of handwritten shit. Yeah. But then
That's
in
also harder to
college, you're
edit.
just like fully hungover taking a test.
Yeah.
Just
Wow. And then I went to
acing
like
it.
a
You're just
like
wow,
a
this is
film schooly thing.
nice.
And you know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was so easy.
You're like,
compared
I
to,
think
like,
what he meant to say was that's like
Yeah.
how every sentence starts.
Yeah.
But that's like any academic. Like any academic thing is like you read it and then you're like, I think what he meant to say was.
Yeah.
Or she.
Yeah. Gotta remember. Yeah.
Yep.
We had a class though where we were reading like Marx and shit, and I was like, this is over my. I just couldn't. Because also a lot
So
of those guys.
you weren't paying attention at the Anarchist Bookshop. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah, even the dementia hit
We
back
find
then,
out.
right? The key
Wow.
points. You'd say that.
Oh, so you do dementia. You forgot about the middle class.
Yeah. Forgot about the working man. That's what you
And
did.
his name is us.
Yeah.
No, but those guys, like a lot of them, they'll like make up their own terms in the paper.
Which
Yeah.
I want to start doing that to seem smarter.
It's kind of a like dick out, fucking
Yeah.
balls to the wall move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've made up my own classes.
To be like
so-
the Wiener hypothesis out of fucking
we kind
nowhere.
of do have that though.
Yeah, like our own
We have
lore
like we
and
have like
terminology.
proverbs.
I mean, phone is in the bag. Let
Phones
them
in the
know. Those
bag,
are both
let 'em
like
know. Calling people
lifestyle.
loons, I think, is pretty
Yeah,
big.
Silly Billy Balloon Town.
Yeah,
That's
that
a fun
refers
one.
to a psychotic break, by the way. That Silly Billy Balloon Town refers to
first
the worst moment of
psychotic
your life. A trip to the psych ward.
I like that you're like, there's going to be a second one. You can't
Silly
just be
Billy
like the
Balloon.
psychotic break.
No, yeah, the
first.
the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys, like, I don't know. There was so much brazen, like, they were just so confident that we
I
were like,
know.
wow, this guy's a genius. But it's like, they were just like kind of blindly.
Yeah.
Some of the shit is stupid.
Because you can
like
read a lot of
Nietzsche
it and
and
be
stuff,
like,
it's
I don't
insane.
really think you are following your own argument. Like, you're
Yeah.
not good at arguing. But that's part of it, That's part of being a man and just being so confident you put shit out there.
Yeah. We're
It's
like,
like if Yoshi could talk.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yoshi would have some big
Yes.
social theories.
But then, like, Wilbur would have the actually smart stuff, but he would just take a really long time to come up with it. And it would only be like one paper, but it'd be really good. And you could really like base a lot of things off of it.
Yeah.
But Yoshi would be prolific.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a lot of movies versus like Michael Bay versus like Paul Thomas Anderson.
I was about to say, I'm like, it's like a really good alt comic versus someone who's doing a lot of crowd work. Like, yeah, you're from the South Side, check his pockets. Yoshi kills up front, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yoshi's a cruise ship comic.
Yeah.
Yoshi's a hard follow.
Yeah.
In a room, he's a hard follow for sure.
Yeah.
But Wilbur, he really needs his crowd. He
Yes.
really needs the crowd to come to him.
Yeah.
And once you do, you're like, wow, this is
This
fucking
guy's a
genius.
genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Wait, so when you were majoring in international relations, what was the plan
Yeah.
pre-comedy?
Like State Department.
God damn.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, I didn't do it, so it's not really.
Were you living in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's fucking wild.
Yeah. So they pay you a lot to study Arabic because they really need people who speak Arabic. And then like
You can tell by which language they're paying you to study. You're like, what are you guys
Yeah.
planning?
Yeah. You can learn
They're
how
like,
to
"There's gonna be
say your
shit."
prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Say goodbye
any
to
last
everybody.
words? I know that.
Yeah.
No. That's the first phrase they teach you. No, I speak Hindi, and so that is also another language they really like. And so if you have a combination, it's like a really good combo to get a lot of jobs. But then I was like, I really don't think. The more I was like, I really don't think I want to work with that.
Do you have to get to an insane level to, like, are you going from like you understand like a Hindi English thing and like an English Arabic thing, but could you translate like Hindi to Arabic at any point, or is that a new set of skills you have to learn? You know what I mean?
I think if you were really, really good at both of those, it'd be like the same kind of skill set, but you would just have to know both of those really well.
Gotcha.
But
That's
then
like
like
so interesting though.
yeah, it's like you just have to commit. It was like a point where I was like, I just have to commit my life to this or not do it, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. But I did go. I like studied in the Middle East for like a while, and then my final year, I was gonna go there for a year for this like scholarship that they pay you to go and study Arabic, and I was like, I don't. That means because after that you have to make a 2-year commitment to the State Department because they're like, we already paid you to go study.
Damn.
And I was like, I'm not making a 2-year commitment to the State Department. That's
Goddamn
crazy.
right.
Yeah, that's
the name of this
insane.
episode.
Yeah. 2-year
Just a fist in
commitment
the
to the
air.
State Department.
Yeah.
No.
Where in the Middle East are you studying?
So I went to Egypt for one summer, and then I went to Oman for the next summer, and then the third year when I was supposed to go to Jordan, I just graduated instead. I was like, I'm just gonna leave college.
Damn.
So then
I thought you
didn't
just
go.
follow around the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
I really did follow the
Overthrew.
Arab Spring. Well,
Yeah.
I went to Egypt, and the second Arab Spring happened. Like the second week I was there, and I was just like, I was like so young. You know, when you're young and you don't think you're gonna die or anything, like nothing's gonna happen. So I
Like
just stayed
spring
there.
break.
It truly was like,
You
I'm
saw
just gonna
people just
stay
being, like,
here.
hung in the
Wow.
streets
My
and-
parents were so mad, but I mean, they couldn't do anything because you know, I'm not gonna take a cab to the airport. So how are you gonna get me out of here? so that's the big. Yeah, they're still kind of mad about it, I think. But then I just stayed there, and it was honestly, it was okay. I was on the wrong side. Went to a lot of protests to end up electing a dictator. But
Really?
We've all been there. You know, it is what it is. You go through a silly phase where like we need more freedom, and then then people are getting shot in the courtyard.
you really don't
You
think you don't think you're gonna get swayed by a dictator
Yeah.
until you get
Till you meet
swayed by
and
a
you're like,
dictator.
who is this guy?
And then you're
You
like
also don't
big
think-
dick
Yeah.
energy.
Hey, so
Truly, I was
strong.
like, wow, so charismatic. I'm like, I don't even understand what he's saying, but so charismatic.
Yeah.
Americans can't even cancel you for that because we're too stupid to
But
like
that's-
even know what. You know what I mean? To
Yes.
even know what the wrong side. Like it would never trend on Twitter. They're like, she did what?
Yeah.
They're like, why are you talking about this?
This guy, he went on TV. So there was already a guy who was elected, and it was like technically a fair election, but a lot of people in the country thought that like it wasn't fair. Anyways, then he's about to get ousted, and the military guy who comes on the screen and like on the radio and stuff. The military is huge in Egypt because every firstborn son has to go to the military. So all like,
Only firstborn. Interesting.
it's very biblical. It's like sort of Old Testament firstborn has to go to the military. So everyone knows someone in the
As
military.
if like the next cum isn't going to be as good or something.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah,
like,
you want to get the first
well,
batch.
they're,
Yeah.
I think they're
For a
like,
week
if one of them
after that.
dies, you still have a son. Like the idea is that like we can't sacrifice all your sons to the military.
Oh.
Although no one,
But then
I
why
mean,
wouldn't you do secondborn? Because the firstborn you could only have one.
Yes. But I think if you just have one, you don't have to send one or something. I'm not really sure
interesting.
exactly what. And it's also like a short-term thing. I think it's like 2 years or whatever. You can
I'm
leave.
also like, this doesn't make sense. And you're like, well, it was based on the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm like, the logic isn't quite sound in the book from the. Okay.
Yeah. So then everyone trusted the military, and then the military guy comes on screen, and all my friends, like I was like dating this Egyptian guy, like we would all like sit around and like listen to the radio and like him giving speeches, and he went on and he said, "I will take power for 1 year, and I will allow a fair election to happen." And when you're listening to a lot of propaganda, you really think he's only going to take power for 1 year.
Just a military guy. He just wants it for 1 year.
And this
it's like
is
a vampire. You invited him in. He's like, you're so dumb. I tricked you.
He's still in power. This was 10 years ago.
It was like all
10
because of
years
Casey.
ago.
You find out
This
Casey was like
guy-
translating the speech. He calls the State Department. He's our guy. He's so dope. You're,
find out-
you're taking shots with the new dictator.
You got
I'm
sent
like-
to write for Weekend Update the way that Russia like makes meme farms to
Yeah.
like infiltrate American media.
It
You're like,
truly
isn't it
was
funny
like-
that Trump's actually awesome?
That's like all the jokes I submit. I'm like, I don't know why I don't get picked. It is a lesson, I think, in not knowing enough information and propaganda really working on you. Like I didn't know
Funny to, like,
enough.
support a dictator and be
I
like, well, this
know.
taught me a lot. This is really a good journey for me, you know?
It
Someone
really
just being
helped me realize.
kidnapped from their family, like, please. And you're like, wow.
Like
I should be on
I can
TikTok
understand
list.
the other side. I understand the other side. I get what's going
your
on.
eat, love,
If you
pray.
don't know enough, you can end up supporting a dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have good sound bites.
They have great sound bites and they are extremely charismatic.
Oh, like you know David Drake's joke about like alt-right stuff? Mm-mm. David Drake, look him
Great
up,
comic.
the fucking best. But he has a joke where it's something to the effect of like all the things on paper sound like you know, they're like all lives matter,
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
And he's like, who is this guy? My best friend? And it's like, no, that's a Nazi
Yeah.
actually. But they're good at branding it in a
Yeah.
stupid,
Everybody.
simple
Of
way.
course.
Yeah.
And then you also kind of are like, well, like now it's procrastination, right? Like a guy comes on screen and he says, 1 year, you don't have to think about shit for a year.
It's
and
like,
you're
also, you never have to vote again. You're like, sweet.
well, like
You don't
you're
have
like,
to go to the DMV.
you're just
Hell
like, I'm
yeah.
just gonna put up this decision till next year.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna decide next year.
Yeah.
Like right now, I can just go on vacation now. So then right after it happened, we went to the beach. We like went to
It's such a-
Alexandria. We like had such a good time.
It's such a funny way to take
She
over a
just has
country.
so much blood in her hands as she's suntanning and hanging
yeah.
out.
To take
I was like,
over a
wow, we
country being
fixed
like-
the country, dude. I can't believe I've just been here for like 3 weeks. I fixed this fucking country.
The same way you snooze an alarm, you're like 5 more minutes, and then you're like, oh, I
Truly.
slept for 10 years.
I know. Yeah.
Damn, that's
So that
wild,
was,
dude.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then you're like, maybe I shouldn't work for the State Department.
I like went to protests for this guy.
Whoa.
I like
were you
went
around people
to
where you were like,
protests.
were one of those like, wait, maybe we're the back. Like you can see by the people
Yeah,
that
it's
are
like
around
the
you.
it's like the Mitchell and Webb sketch,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where he's like, maybe we're the baddies. No, because everyone around me was like, they were all like, they were all like educated, liberal, and in a way elite. And so I think they had a stake.
Well,
in,
those people always do the right thing.
Yeah, those people always.
Those people always think about others.
They
in
know
the
what's
best
going
possible way.
on. I was like, I don't know. He has a nice car. He probably knows what to pick.
It's like, hey man, can you pick me up? And you're like, sorry, I'm using my hand to pat myself on the back. I'm kind of busy right
It's
now.
also crazier because I'm like, I don't know. He orders for me at dinner, so he probably knows the right thing to do. It's already a huge red flag that he ordered for me at dinner. Yeah, so that was a big mistake. You know, but really, I mean, Egypt's kind of coasting right now, and they're doing,
You're like, let's not focus on that.
they're you know, who knows how things could have turned out, you know? And there were bad people on both sides. I turned into Trump.
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
left version of Trump. There are good people on
Yeah.
both sides. Like there are
They're
bad, people on both
sides.
sides.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say something real quick. 2-second intermission.
Okay.
Sorry, sometimes the frame is like wide.
You're
Sorry,
saying we're
I
being cut
got
off
a
from
call
Egypt?
from from Egypt. They're like, shut the fuck up, dude.
I'm like, hey, Maddie, can I talk to you for a second? Don't bring this up.
Yeah.
And then the next year I went to Oman. And that was, it was.
I thought you said Omaha for a second.
No, Oman.
I
And
thought-
that one was a lot more chill because they already had a dictator they really liked.
And you're like, oh, you found your guy.
Well, he was like a monarch, sort of.
Yeah.
But then he had this whole weird thing where they were like, he's gonna die soon, and he didn't have any heirs. And then there's like different tribes that control different areas. And he had, in a Game of Thrones way, Game of Thrones was such a big part of my life during this time because when the Egyptian Revolution happened, we watched the Red Wedding episode. I remember that was the night that he got overthrown, and we also watched the Red Wedding, and it was
You're like,
such
oh my
a great
God,
night.
this is so real. Literally everyone around you.
It was truly a Game of Thrones huge in my life. The next year, I'm in Oman. He has written in an envelope who he wants his successor to be, and no one is to open that envelope till after he's dead, which kind of just sort of guarantees like probably like a tribal war. Anyways,
Also tell the guy, because then they're gonna open the envelope. The guy's like, I haven't prepared at all.
yeah, or he's like, everyone's gonna kill me. Because like that's probably what's gonna. Anyways, and that was a really good summer. I had a really good time. I lived in a little village in the middle of nowhere,
What's
desert
important is you had a good
everywhere.
time.
I not on my period once. No, I had a really great time, and
Yeah, none of the blood was mine.
no, and they're still doing fine. Oman's one of the only like very peaceful countries in the Middle East. They almost never have conflict, and people are largely not mistreated, I think. According to
That's what the
propaganda that I
Dictator
read.
says, yeah. According to my weekly
According
calls
to
with the
what I
Dictator
read,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good country. Actually, high rec. Everyone should go to Oman.
Hell
Really
yeah.
good country.
Are there countries on your bucket list that you still want to go to?
Yeah, I mean for sure. I would love to go to Jordan. Jordan's also another like pretty safe, great country. Maybe not right now, but Lebanon, huge on my list. Always hard to
also
get.
maybe
Malik
not
and Emil were
great.
supposed
I
to go,
know.
and then it got canceled. And,
I know.
Yeah.
And when I was in Abu Dhabi, this Lebanese comic was like, "Oh my God, you should come to." I was like, "I've been dying to come to Lebanon," and then he messaged me and he was like, "Malik and Emil are coming," and then I saw that they both canceled. But I was going to be at
So
work
sad.
anyways. Yeah. But Lebanon is supposed to be gorgeous, hottest woman in the world. Like just their Arabic's supposed to be the hottest Arabic. Like it's just all. It's all. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds pretty great.
I know.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
What's on your bucket list that you haven't been to?
Well, obviously Brazil. You got to go see the capybaras in person. Gotta go hug a
Yeah.
capybara in real life.
I saw
That's a big-
capybaras when I was in Tokyo, and it was the coolest thing I've ever experienced.
Fed the capybara, right?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll show her the video post pod. It's pretty
pretty
big,
fun.
Okay,
pretty
okay,
huge. I want to go to like. I had some friends on tandem I want to go visit. I can't get into Venezuela.
Oh.
But
Why?
I would because I've thought about it, but I can't.
Because things are not
Oh,
great
not
there
you
right now.
personally.
No, just like
Okay,
anyone
okay,
with a
okay.
U.S. passport.
Dude, there's a
can't
kind of
enter.
cool thing. Not cool. Well, it's interesting. On the U.S. State Department, they have like a map of the world.
Yeah.
And then the ratings from like, there's 4 levels of
Yeah.
like totally safe, knock yourself out, go have a good time, to
Yeah.
like do not go
Do
here.
not go.
And I think it's specifically what's safe for Americans, but it's what's safe
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
It's
but it's
also
like,
if they
but it's like the
if
state
they don't like the government.
Well, it's
There's a
usually
little bit of that, but
if they can't like get you out if there's a conflict. Like
Yeah.
they just want to make sure that the embassy can get you out
So-
in time. And if you can't get out in time, then you shouldn't go.
Yeah, it could be that the country's dangerous. It could be that they have poor relations there, so like their embassy isn't
Yeah.
operable. But there'll be things that are like, if you go here and something bad happens,
You're
we can't
fucked.
help you.
Yeah.
Like you cannot call the U.S. embassy.
Some of that's fake news, though. It was
Yeah.
like at a terror level 3 and when I used to go to El Salvador, and it was completely fine. And now it's at a 2, and it's safer than New York City.
No, I'm not saying like but there are some like Russia's on that list right now, Venezuela's on that list right now. We could pull up the map, but it's like
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
believe in the map. I'm just saying that I think sometimes the U.S. reasons are like,
Yeah.
it's so
well, when I was
unsafe
in
because
Egypt,
they're
they're
not
like, you gotta
agreeing
get
with-
out. Every day they would send me an email saying you have to leave right now.
I
And then
feel
just
like
wouldn't.
I agree that U.S. public opinion is probably
Yeah.
like there's a lot of like white Americans that are like, oh, don't go to this
Yeah,
country, it's
yeah.
safe, and it's like literally the only reason you think that is because it's not a majority white country. But there are some things on this list where I'm like, they list the reasons why, and it's like there are countries that are like
Yeah.
unstable where it's like if you go there and there's no U.S. embassy, you might be like
Right. No,
Yeah, you
trouble.
might be
I'm
stranded.
for sure. I'm just saying sometimes they'll pick a government that's not currently agreeing with them
sure.
and be like, it's
Right.
dangerous to go there. But
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not that dangerous. They'll just be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
I
it's
get
really
what you're saying.
dangerous because Chile doesn't want to nationalize its mines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Or
mean?
yeah, it's dangerous. There's no embassy, and it's like, well, there's no embassy because we stopped working with them because we don't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also you also always have to remember, even in like a war zone, like in a civil war, people are still going to school.
Yeah,
Like
they're
you're
doing
still
their thing.
going
You
to
got-
work.
It's important to remember, people are still going to the beach.
Yeah,
People are
still
hanging
going
out.
to the beach,
Casey's saying,
dude.
people are still
People are
having a great.
loving
Some
the
people
beach.
are taking Molly and being
Yeah.
part of a polycule.
Yeah.
You could do that in the U.S.
In
too. It's like
Lebanon
we have
right
mass
now.
shootings all the time. It's like not a safe place to come,
Yeah.
but like if you're smart and you know where you're going, like
Right.
Yeah.
there's a lot of places where it's
I
totally
never go
normal.
hang out in an elementary school.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why would I do that? Duh.
Yeah.
Simple right there. The threat levels like, do not come. We cannot get you out of an embassy. Yeah, I'd rather go to. I'd take my chances in Somalia before I go to
Seriously,
fourth grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Where do you want to go?
The only places I've been were Canada, the UK, and Tokyo, which were very cool. I'd really like to go to, like Morocco seems cool as fuck, dude.
Morocco, Gibraltar. It's an
Gibraltar?
island right off
Yeah.
the coast of Spain. It's the only place in Europe where there are primates. There's like monkeys.
Whoa, let's go.
Did they get those in?
No, they're naturally. They're native
Oh.
there.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
sick.
it's pretty cool.
That belongs to the UK.
Yeah, but it's like a
Okay.
weird fight. And people
Yeah,
there speak a mixture of like Spanish and then British English, which is interesting.
Oh, damn.
They say stuff like "born on the rock." It's
Very
literally
Game
just
of
a weird
Thrones.
little rock.
The very Game
Dude,
of Thrones.
speaking of a weird little
Yeah.
rock, you know where I want to go? The Pitcairn Islands. Do you know this
Oh
place?
no.
Dude, it's this like weird little tiny island that like 50 people live on.
Uh-huh.
It's so small it doesn't have an airport. You can travel there by boat if you really want to. And this one guy made like a YouTube documentary where he was like, I'm fucking going, dude. And it's like
Got shot
hard to get
immediately.
to.
You're like, and this is the community
Yeah.
garden I was looking for. You're like, fine. You're like, this is the anarchism I see. Just a boat full of like sweaty college kids from Chapel Hill. No, we can really make something here.
But it's so funny. It's like they're not like an uncontacted tribe. Like they got there and it's like, yeah, they have TVs, and they were like, we
what
like
are you
used to
doing?
be an English colony, so we get shipments and stuff. Yeah, there's like 50 of us, but
Oh.
I'm just hanging
we don't have
out.
an airport. But
God,
yeah, we kind
that's
of like
gotta
just
be
live here.
so inbred.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can't be great,
I
dude.
don't know. We
Yeah.
did
Did
an
you guys
episode
watch-
of The Man with 1,000 Kids who like personally ruined the Netherlands gene pool.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
So I feel
dude.
like I
Yeah.
take my chances in that town of 50 over just dating someone in Sweden right now.
Yeah.
Or
That's
Netherlands.
so weird to be like, okay, it's my sperm.
just to wake up and be like, I ruined a gene pool. I'd be like, everyone is like, my kid is such
Don't
a
tell
weird...
anyone it's my sperm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like,
His nurse is like, what'd you say? He's like, nothing. It's my sperm.
there's no like female equivalent of like I planted my
I
eggs.
know.
You would have to be such a diabolical level of like I did surgery on every woman
Yeah.
in the country and put my eggs inside of her.
It would also
Yeah,
just
dude.
not occur to you because you'd be like, I don't want to do that shit.
Like, I'm on
Yeah.
my period. I don't
Yeah.
want that.
I would take over the world, but I'm on my
Yeah.
It is
period.
crazy because no one talks about how much he had to jerk off to do this.
Yeah.
Like, he's just
Like
getting
all day,
patients
every day.
every day.
Yeah, that's like
He's
at least
jerking
6
off.
loads a day.
Just so crazy.
That's wild. Yeah. Where was that? That was Denmark?
Holland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not particularly on my list. Iceland would be cool.
I
heard-
heard
I heard Peru.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know, I
Peru
kinda
is
would go
incredible.
anywhere.
Iceland's also incredible, but Peru is one of my favorite countries.
For real?
Love Peru.
Dude,
So
there's so
Lima
much cool,
is
like,
so
art
fucking
history
cool.
there that's
Lima
like
is
I'm
so
a
cool.
big art history
Yes.
guy. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to Rome for a day too. That was really
Ooh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
I want to go to Rome. Yeah, I've never been to Italy.
And I think I'd like to go to France just because
We got the
My
Duolingo
38
speak.
my
You gotta break it
38
up.
Duolingo.
and I think
And
French
Mali,
girl
and
fashion is
Mali.
kind of cool. Yeah. That would be
Yes.
sick. Yeah.
for French. My sister has a 470-day streak on Duolingo.
Damn.
I know, but I'm like, that's like, what?
That's like 2 classes.
What are you doing? Yeah.
That's like 2 actual classes.
Yeah, at this point, I have to do it because the little owl will be like,
Yes.
I'm
He'll
gonna
get mad.
kill myself.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and he
It's a
looks like he's about to
BPD owl.
come. He's like,
Do
yeah.
you love me anymore? I'll kill
literally-
myself if you don't come back here.
The owl's like, this time it's this way, but
Yeah.
next time I'm gonna cut down vertical. And you're like, what?
The owl
are you
texted my
talking about?
parents and said that he's worried about me. The owl went to your mom's house looking for you. Yeah.
But this is more practical than when I was younger. I was learning Hebrew because we learned it in like
Yeah.
to
You
temple
sure?
and stuff.
Yeah. Might not, all you have to learn is I'm sorry.
Well, I did stop learning it because I was like, okay, I'm not ever gonna go to Israel.
Right.
And there's
There is actually low-key a high amount of French people in New York.
I really want to go to Tel
Interesting,
Aviv.
really?
Me and Mark McPartland, friend of the pod, friend of everyone, really. We were talking about how you hear a lot of French, like Manhattan, a lot of
Oh
French
yeah, Upper
tourists.
West has a lot of
Interesting.
French.
Yeah.
There's an alliance, like a French alliance thing, where you can go take classes for free because the French embassy, I think, pays for it.
whoa,
Yeah.
that's sick.
And there's like some preschools that are entirely in French in the Upper West Side.
Oh, that's it.
Because I think peak New Yorker, peak white New Yorker, just is a French person.
Yes.
Just a really skinny,
Right.
chain smoking. I'm too cool. I'm slightly pissed all the time.
Paris,
Yeah.
New York has a very similar like.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Rude
is
vibe to it.
embarrassing.
Mhm.
Do you know part of the reason I learned a lot of French?
Why? You like a model that's from France?
Yeah, I watched a lot of like those New York Fashion Week Vogue videos, and they're always like, "I am in France, and then I am in New York," and I was like, "Me too." But then I'm like, it's such a sexy language.
Yeah.
But then I'm learning it, and I'm like, I don't know how to say anything sexy. I'm like, the dog is mine. It's like
You should just learn the French accent in English.
yes,
Just do the French accent, so that way it just seems
Have
like
a
you
bit
speak
where
French.
you speak in the French accent.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll get used to it, and that's the whole thing.
Yes.
that could be huge, dude. Gavin was doing like after the show last night. Gavin was doing a French accent for like 5 hours. It was so funny. Him being like,
5 hours.
That's
I mean,
like-
he didn't leave. He was like, I do not know what the show is. We are going to a diner, and it was so
Oh,
funny.
you guys went to a diner?
Yeah, I know, I'm
Man,
sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you feel like though, like I'm sure I think we've talked about this where it's like men will come up and be like, oh, I didn't think I was gonna like you. I don't
Yeah.
like female comics, but you were actually really funny.
Yes.
And I didn't realize. Like when I started, I was so naive that I was like, that's such an antiquated. Nobody thinks that women aren't funny.
Yeah.
And then if like 5 or 6 years in, guys started saying that to me after shows, and I
Yes.
was like, oh, I didn't know I was walking on stage
With
facing
you
that.
hating me, yeah.
And if I had known that, I think I would have been too nervous. It was only because I had this
Yeah,
blind
yeah.
like optimism.
Right.
Because
Um,
you're used to the community gardens.
yes.
Used to Chapel
Yeah.
Hill.
I'm
You're
used to
like,
Chapel
nobody
Hill
thinks
Community
that.
Gardens.
You're like, people don't
But,
even
like-
believe that women are. People don't believe they're still women.
Yeah.
Like, no one has gender anymore.
I literally
Yeah.
will do jokes about like I think I might be non-binary, and they're like, I don't like women, but I like
Yeah,
you. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't even.
Yeah,
They
it's
yeah,
like
only
you
like you
don't
because they're like,
have
well, of
any-
course you're non-binary. You're
Yeah.
funny. You can't be a woman. There's got to be a they, them in there.
yeah.
It is insane because like I started in the South, so I never felt like it wasn't even the women thing, because I think I also was blindly optimistic because I think I went to like an all-girl school, so
Whoa.
I didn't really think about sexism in a weird way.
Interesting.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
everyone I know is a woman, so it doesn't
Mm.
occur to me that like a boy is going to be smarter than you because the smartest person I know is a girl, you know? So it's
Mm.
like this weird thing. But then I was like, oh, they hate me because I'm brown. Because I was in the South. So I was like,
Damn.
oh, I immediately have to be like, that's why I would always put my best joke first. Because I was like, I'm going to lose them like immediately if I don't do
They're
this.
so much less friendly up
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Because there is like if you're any kind of like marginalized community, I feel like it's this weird double-edged sword where I'm not like it's good that the world's hard because it makes you better. Like no, it's fucked
Yeah,
up, and there are
yeah.
probably a lot of people that would be great that if they were given that grace that like white men are given, then they would like straight white men.
Yeah.
Then they would choose that. But there is something of it if it doesn't break you, it does force you to.
Yeah.
You have a hard follow built in every single time.
Totally.
And it's
Oh,
like-
I used to like tell people who brought me on, I'd be like, hey, they'd be like, what do you want me to say? I'd be like, just don't say this next woman coming up.
Mm.
Because I was like, they're immediately, I would rather you just say the name and then I come up, and at the very least, like a smile or something could get them than for you to be like, oh, a woman's coming up, you know?
And I think
Which
even,
could
like,
be in my head, but also, I don't know. I just
no,
didn't
I
like
completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I'm like, even like gender identity aside, I'm like, if I'm a woman, that feels like an adjective, not like
Yeah.
the main.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
feels like such and I have brown hair and I'm 5'3". Like it's such a just like detail, not like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. But I think it also maybe subconsciously does something where if the host is a guy and he's like, this next comic, they're subconsciously like, he sees her as a comic.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
not like a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
But what's the worst? I got brought up one time at the show like near a military base in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Nice.
I did the Fort Bragg before.
Oh, you did the actual thing.
I did
I was
the
just like
actual
outside
bits.
of it.
Yeah.
But dude, they brought me up and they're like, I think this is the first woman we've ever had on this stage.
Oh
Give
my
it up
God.
for Maddie Weiner. Like they didn't even say it right. I was like, God
This is the
damn.
first,
dude.
I guess
Maddie
we're having a stripper in the
Weiner.
middle of the show. Give it up for a wiener. That's funny. Pull out your wieners for Maddie Weiner, everybody. Yeah.
Maddie
Brutal.
Weiner just sounds like, she's a woman, so she whines.
Yeah.
Get it, Weiner.
Stop beating me.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no, we could have changed the name, but now we're stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Have you ever gotten like a weird, I mean, I don't know what the equivalent for men would be or if you feel like a weird, because gender's baked into language in a way that it is so easy to be in like an
wait.
intro like that.
I got brought up in a weird way one time where it was a white dude who went up before me and had like a really great set. And then the host went up and said, and now the exact opposite of the comic you just, which
Oh
is
my
just like
God.
a way of being like, brown woman. But it sounded like I was gonna be bad because I was like, he just fucking crushed. Why would you say that?
Yeah, and people are so blind to like people like to seeing like race and gender when it's the like what they deem the default. So they were just like the opposite of a good.
Yeah. So I was like, why would you fucking say that? And now I have to go up and like.
Also, that's your joke to make. That's the person to be like energy shift.
Yeah.
You don't say that before the person fucking gets off.
You're ready to be bummed out.
That's wild, dude.
But not similar to this, but just wild. Thing I didn't expect was a few weeks ago. Actually, I was in Raleigh doing some shows. I jumped on the roast battle. I won the roast battle, and then the two people that the audience declared like were the funniest had to roast each other. We had like 10 minutes to write jokes about each other. I had never met this guy. This guy had never really met me, but I found some jokes, and I go over. All of his jokes were like, he says his name is Kenyan, but his real name is Muhammadijad. Gets an applause break. Does several jokes where he's like, he buys fucking used hijabs off OnlyFans and turns into them. Other applause break. like it was like truly like, it made me lose faith in like America. I'm like, it's not even the right type of racist. I was like, I'm not even the race you're talking about. And I had some good jokes. I had like some clever jokes about the guy. And they were like, I don't know. And he won. He won.
Jesus
by
fucking
being
Christ.
extremely Islamic. He was like Kenyan and his fucking 5 wives. And everyone's like, he's saying what everybody's thinking. It's like the club I started at.
So
a place I like revere. And I'm like, this is cool. Raleigh has the best audiences. They all just went, this dumb Arab. Got an applause break and I lost. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Holy shit.
Yeah, and
dude.
I was like, this isn't even the right. And all the comics that knew me were like, what the fuck is happening? It was like
wild.
truly like you could see like policy versus like demagoguery in real time where I was like, no, this is a very clever, smart like platitude. And he's like, I don't know. I just don't want him here.
Me voting for that guy.
I was like Trump might win again.
Fuck.
Yeah. And so that was pretty well, sometimes after show, because I feel like I've always grown up, almost everyone I talk to, I think comes from like a different background. So I can get along with, I would say pretty much anybody. But like sometimes like some rednecky stuff after shows, they'll say like really weird stuff to you and you're like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like,
sometimes people will come up to me and they'll be like, this has only started happening recently, but they'll be like, so you didn't say things that were real on stage though, right? Because there's a lot of like just stuff about like my childhood and stuff, and I'm like, you think I would make that up? That's so insane.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Why would I make that up? But also, I'm like, I get it because it just seems very,
You know, people say that to me too, but my set's just about getting laid, and I'm like, no, fuck you, that happened.
Wait, so you're making that up, right?
that would not happen.
Oh, what are you reading from your fantasy novel?
Yeah, dude. It's like it's weird. Like the stand-up makes you understand ways that you're perceived by like an average person in a way that I don't think we would be aware of if we didn't do it.
No.
Like if I didn't do stand-up, I could really drink the Kool-Aid of how I see myself, but you really are coldly confronted with how other
like,
people
wow, I
see
would have
you.
never known
Totally.
I'm a fat whore.
It is truly.
You also like
literally
it's just
that.
the internet saying the worst thing
Yeah,
imaginable. Yeah, it's just being like this fucking big nose, untalented. I had a joke where I like yell or whatever, and someone posted like I literally laughed out loud about how not funny this is.
Yeah.
You know, this
It's
shit.
also
The
just
internet
like,
is
the
fucking,
internet's
but
a
I mean like
cesspool.
in person. Because
In
internet,
person.
it's like you can't even fucking. That's just insane.
like
Nothing.
I think like I don't hear my accent. And I think I wouldn't know I had an accent until I did roast battles and people started doing my accent. And I was like, oh, I had not considered this as because you don't really hear you're doing your best impression of American. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of things that you pick up on. You're like, oh, I didn't think we all thought I was Vietnamese. What the hell? You know? Just like random shit.
No,
you're like,
you
oh,
do.
okay.
Roast battle's a wild way to learn.
Yes,
Everyone
I know,
thinks
but
you're
it's actually
a
really
Muslim pervert, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, what?
Yeah, I didn't
the
want-
hell happened?
Dude, I was like 60 pounds lighter too. I was in college and someone was like, great, she's a funny comic. It was hilarious, but she was like, Maddie looks like if Grimace transitioned, which is so funny.
Yeah.
But it's when it gets a huge laugh. That
Yeah,
you're
like, oh,
fuck.
damn it.
Really?
If I had clever, everyone's just like, Patrick, my homosexual, and you're like, okay. But the rip roaring laugh is hurtful.
Yeah,
It's when you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we all were thinking this. You tapped into
Yeah.
something in the unconscious of the room.
Yeah.
Great.
And they're like,
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. But in a way, like, well, I'm like, I don't know if it's good. It's like the internet, I think, is different because it's like if you listen
Yeah,
to
That's
you
like
can't
people,
listen to
toxic
it
yourself.
mean behavior.
But
Well,
also
someone
that
said
is
it-
when you realize that people will just go on it and be like a woman talking, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
so we're still fucking here. you
I've
know,
never seen misogyny like,
except on Reddit.
but I just never really, I quite frankly didn't experience much of it until it was like posting stand up online was the first time that someone was like, you're a woman, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And it's, like,
yeah,
fucking
they really
wild.
just immediately hate it.
It's
Yeah,
really
because
you
in
know
weird.
what's
Chapel
so
Hill, they're like,
crazy?
you're a woman and we love you.
Yeah.
Yes, queen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
you're a
little
woman.
bit.
You're great.
Yeah.
But like, okay. I never thought about misogyny, even though when I was like, we're only two girls, so my sister and then me. And when I was born, apparently people in my family, being very liberal, were like, it's okay that it's not a son. Okay, so that was like the
Whoa.
liberal take on this. And
They're like,
then my mom was like, they were
condolences.
so liberal. They were like, it's okay that it's not a son. Despite that, you just put it out of your brain, because you don't think
Wow.
like you can't like go through life carrying that, so you just kind of forget, and then suddenly you're like, everyone's like, bitches always, or someone referred to me as a hole. Have you ever heard that?
Jesus
A hole?
Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Or like you'll say like you had sex with someone, and every comment will be like, well, he got what he could possibly want out of you, and you're just like, no one.
Wild.
What is this? Like, what is this energy?
It's really wild.
No
Yeah.
And you know
good.
what's so weird too is like I was thinking,
But
of
I
this-
respond. I'll fucking get back at them.
I've responding in like the most like the one like alpha one up. I have a fucking huge hole, dude.
Yeah. Your mom could fit in it, dude.
You couldn't even fill my pussy if you tried, bro. How about you step up? How about that,
Maddie just
bitch?
starts punching people outside.
Into my pussy.
Pussy could be the escape rat from an ad, you fucking bitch.
But it's just like it's so funny because those guys, I'm like, if I picture the version of me that you would actually respect, which I think is like an oxymoron, it doesn't
Yeah.
even exist. But even if I could fulfill every box you'd want me to check, I would hate being that person.
Oh, of course.
Also, they
That
would still
sucks.
hate that person.
They would
Yeah.
hate that
They would
person.
just be more horny for that person than they would hate them. And the
Yeah.
second they're done fucking, they'd be like, I hate them.
yeah.
That's why a lot of like hacky male jokes are like, she's always talking after we have sex. I just want to use you for sex, and then
Yeah.
you disappear, which is literally some people's jokes.
It is
Yeah.
amazing what men will reveal about themselves on stage that we find acceptable because it's a trope that's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like if you had to pitch religion to an adult who'd never heard of it, they'd go, "Oh, that's crazy." Like if
Yeah.
you said that joke to someone who didn't know stand up, they'd be like, "That's really
Why would you
mean."
say that? Yeah.
But there's all this like, "Oh, take my wife," and you're like, "That's stand up."
It's
But it's
also
like
that
this
is-
dude fucking
Also,
hates
That is
his wife.
genuinely how a lot of, I mean, hate to, but that is like
Yeah.
how a lot of toxic dudes think.
Yeah.
Take my wife, please,
So
though, is
wild.
one of the best jokes in the world. So
Yeah, can we just say yeah.
that is true.
This woman I profess love to in front of both of our families, kill her. I hate her. She's always like blah blah blah. Can't work. I'm legally not allowed outside.
Have there been female comics that have done like the "my husband's annoying and I wish he'd shut up" thing?
I want to say that I've heard someone say.
I
that.
feel like, a lot of it can be like, my partner's annoying. Like, I think that's a fair
Yeah.
take, because your partner is annoying.
And the
because
partner's
that's
one-
the
yeah,
person
yeah.
you deal with the most, and they are so fucking annoying.
Mm.
Because they
it's like really, really personal, and
They
are just
get
they
to
just
you the
beat the
most,
life
you
out
know?
of you. You just go, you like start going, and you're like, and
you
it's
hit
just
them,
every
they
day
hit
this
you.
leech.
But I think where it crosses the line is where they're like, and she's a huge bitch. The joke can't just be like, she's a huge bitch.
Yeah.
That's why John Mulaney has that joke where he'll be like, I asked my wife if I could talk about her, and she's like, just don't say I'm like a huge bitch. And he's like, how would that be funny? My wife is a huge bitch.
That's literally
Who would like that?
Standing
It's
O
so
in the
funny.
80s.
Yeah.
Standing O to be like, my wife's a huge bitch. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, kill her,
Yeah.
kill her. I mean, Sam Kinison, who I do like his first hour, but later he did have a TV show where he just has people call and be like, you stupid fucking whore. and that would be
Yeah.
it.
Do you know what's so interesting is like there's so many comics that like I feel like we're very similar in this way.
Yeah.
Is like the guys that we're drawn to have like a rage, like a like a
yes.
Burr or a like, I guess kind of a Patrice or like an Eddie Pepitone or
Yeah.
like a Kinison.
Yeah.
But it's like because they're men, a lot of that rage is just like at women.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
More
Yeah.
So I'll be like, this
Eddie
is my favorite.
Pepitone just hates the system, which
No,
is
that's
good.
true. Eddie
Yeah,
Pepitone
yeah,
has directed it in class in a very just and noble way.
Yes.
Don't you
But,
compare
I'm
Eddie
saying,
Pepitone
but
to
if you
Sam.
if you like angry stand up, a lot of times you eventually get down the rabbit hole where your favorite comic is just saying some shit about like they're all holes and they should shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. And it's
I mean,
yeah.
I love Bill Burr, one of my favorites. But there is this bit that I also love. It's a really good bit, but it's like women saying being a mom is the hardest job.
Yeah.
And that's a great bit, but you're also like, what are you saying?
yeah. That's kind of what I love about Bird too. Is I'm like he is one of my favorites because he can say something that I so vehemently
Yeah.
disagree with, and I still laugh.
Yeah.
Because one, it's so good that I can't help but
Yeah.
laugh, and two, it's like, damn, you did show me that I don't agree with. I'm not who I think I am quite
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
as I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
because you got an involuntary
Yeah,
reaction out of
it's
me.
incredible.
Like, that's a skill to make someone that disagrees with you laugh.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's still just like
Yeah.
there is still
Or he
shit
has
where
like
I'm
this
like
abortion
no.
joke that everyone's like, it's a genius joke. It's a genius. It's about like how if you mixed a cake and you didn't put it in the oven, or someone destroyed the mixture before they put it in the oven, you wouldn't be like, well, I never had a cake. You would still be like, the cake didn't get whatever. It's like this analogy that is deeply flawed or whatever. But I'm also like, oh, you're just out there making commentary about an issue that's never gonna fucking affect you.
Yeah.
But it's still like a
It's also,
I can
you
see
can't
where
get
the
killed
joke is
if
good.
if the cake is not cooked correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Well, it's just
Yeah.
like he's
You're
like,
not like, oh fuck, I didn't put on 365. I guess I'm
Well,
gonna
like,
bleed
he's
out.
like,
and
Yeah, it's like
die.
if you were like, wait, I accidentally put poison in the cake, and they're like, you gotta
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah. There's actually
he's like he's like, abortion is murder, but I'm okay with murder. And I'm like, well, don't
It's
you
not
know
do that.
that's
It's
not
funny,
the great
but, like,
take.
yeah.
It's the
But
take
I'm okay
itself
with
is
murder is correct for America though, right? Because it's like we're not taking the guns away. It's up to everyone's personal right. You're okay with murder,
Yeah.
until it's a baby.
The
What if
only
that
thing-
baby?
Let's
What if
kill
that
him, let's kill
fetus
him.
grows up and buys a gun and kills a bunch of people?
Yeah.
That might be the only way we stop more school shooters. Is to increase abortion.
that is actually true. When you increase abortion, there's lower crimes in the
There's-
area,
really,
and
yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
less jail time because obviously people who are trying to do this is they're not
If you
in a
trap people in a
situation where
cycle of
they
poverty,
can
yeah.
where they can raise a baby well. So
With the thing that like what we're talking about with Burr, where it's like there's so many comics that I look up to that are, and this I'm painting with a broad brush.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Burr, but
Yeah.
like that have an incredible skill.
Yes.
But the thing they're saying I disagree with.
Demagogues.
Which like fine.
demagogues,
Yeah.
because you're like, this is what I'm talking about. If you have a good
Skill.
Yeah.
way of
You're like
talking,
dictators,
you're
yeah.
like, yeah.
But I think our generation of comics, like the class, like the young comics that are coming up now that like haven't done hours yet,
Yeah.
are like, because there's like that weird schism of like there's like the Shane Gillis and then there's like the Nanette
Yeah.
where people are like all that matters is funny or like all that matters is meaning.
Yeah.
But I think there's gonna be this like cool fusion where it's like achieve the
name's
skill
Maddie
set, but also like
Yeah.
But think about why you're saying
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying. I don't think that's really been in like the ethos of comedy.
Yeah.
It's just been like if it's funny, it's funny. Don't analyze it further. But I think now, and because
Yeah.
of the internet and because of kind of like morally policing each other in like sometimes a good way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we might actually like. I think that might be a cool next step in like
Yeah.
the art form.
I also feel like people feel like it's a more interesting skill set. They're like, well, hearing about this is more interesting than hearing about nothing. Which is sometimes there's a place for hearing about nothing that's just jokes and like turning it off. But I would find it like, I don't want to go all the way in the net, but I would find it more interesting if I was like, oh, that was actually like a very thoughtful way of which Wilbur has done for me millions of times where I'm like,
Yeah.
that was actually such a cool way to think about this.
Yeah, I feel like we're not
You
talking
know?
about like the Mitch Hedbergs or the Stephen Wrights or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
silly.
yeah.
We're talking about the tradition of like
Yeah.
the Carlin Pryor, Louis, like that
Yeah.
whole like. But there's a Benny Feldman. Do you know him?
Yes, I love
Dude,
Benny.
He had that great tweet where he was like, I'm butchering it, but where he was like saying that like the guys now that'll be like, it's just jokes. Jokes have no social impact. Like, stop holding my feet to the fire about this. Are the same people who revere like Carlin and Pryor and Lenny Bruce for their social impact.
Right.
Yeah, which quite literally, it's always had social impact. Like
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce was literally like arrested
Yeah.
for saying stuff that, ironically, comedy is like so timely. It's not timeless. Because if you look at what he said now, you're like, that's like a bad tweet. And back then, they're like, lock him up.
Yeah.
He's corrupting the youth. And you're like, this is a lame, stupid, like Pier 1 import shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so lame thing.
Lenny Bruce said homework loading.
That got him arrested. That got him banned.
Yeah, they threw Lenny Bruce in jail for
Philosopher.
saying fluent in sarcasm.
I do have the award.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Should we do plugs?
Yeah, you can find me at Cash App, Kenyon Adam Chick. Go to my Instagram, follow the podcast. If you're already doing that, you're doing the right stuff.
Fuck yeah, I don't know. The camera looks like it turned off. So, are we at 57 minutes? Oh, we just ran out of time. So this will be audio only. We'll put up a picture of a capybara on the YouTube for this part.
Yes.
I'm on Instagram at Maddie T. Wiener. I got tour dates coming up. Yeah, come see tour dates.
I'm on Casey Shornima Instagram, and I only have 2 more tour dates for the rest of this year. And that's also on my Instagram. So
Hell yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
bye.